Hello everyone, it is Monique, more commonly known as 𝗍𝗶𝗁, and I am going to talk about things I feel like I don't hear other shifters talk about. I guess I'm just gonna break the ice. I want to give a big quick hello to all of my shimmers. Thank you to every single one of you who has subscribed to me. It's done so much and I'm so grateful for where I've gotten, and I cannot wait to see what 2023 will bring us. If you guys haven't joined it yet, join the Shimmers Discord down below in the bio. If it is not in like the description, then I'll put it in a pinned comment on my last video. It let me make a description, so we'll see how this goes. Talk about what it was like to shift with a face claim, because I've shifted with a face claim before and I feel like no one really talks about like what it's like to like look completely different, which is just like a totally like crazy and bizarre topic, and I want to talk about it. So apologies for my voice once again. I am still sick, but it's okay. I'm gonna power through. A really big thing for me is when I like shifted with a face claim, I didn't technically like use a face claim, I guess. I kind of like got a face claim later because I wanted to like show people kind of what I looked like. In my 𝐿 DR, I just scripted that I would look like Lily but have James's eyes. That is completely different to how I look now, as one could presume. So there was just like this big like hair color change, and then also my hair was really long. When I got those genetics after shifting there, like my hair was super long. Like I would cut it and it would still just like grow to be really long. It was always very long. It's longer than it is now here. Like it was long. It would go all the way down. Like you would not be able to see the end right now. So there was like a weight difference kind of when I shifted, and that is just like one of the many tiny things. If you've scripted yourself to be like taller or shorter, then like you're definitely gonna like see the difference. When you walk around, you will like, this seems closer than before, or like, I can see a lot more right now. Like, it's just so weird because I've done both. I've like changed my height but like kept the way I've looked. And as 𝐿, I was just much more tall than I am now. I could definitely like feel that kind of difference, like especially like after shifting back, which is another thing like I really wanted to talk about. Oh my god, is when you shift back after like being somewhere else. Anyways, actually no, we're gonna get into that later. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'm trying to talk about face claims right now. I have so much to say about. It's just being in a different physical body is a very interesting experience, and I want to explain it as best as I can so that other people can kind of understand the experience. Just like the differences in like the height, you will feel it, you will see it, you will notice it. It'll definitely be like kind of apparent to you. Like if you script yourself to be shorter, you'll notice more people like looking down at you. Maybe like for me, that was like a personal experience. Like I was like, I don't remember like this being as common in my CR. Like that's weird. With that, like also just like being in a different body, you have different like physical limitations. That was like a big thing. Like just each time I shifted into each and every body, like every single like physical body I've ever had in every reality, they all have like a different set of like physical limitations for that reality. It's just like amazing to see like how vast it can go, and it's cool to see like what you can do there that like maybe you can't do here. That's just like a fun little thing that you might want to try out when you shift, is to just like see what you can do, because it can be surprising, especially like depending on what you've scripted. I'm really excited because like my next DR, I've scripted that like I'm very flexible, I'm very athletic, I'm very good at like cardio, because I'm gonna be a cheerleader, so I needed to fit all of the physical limitations for that. And I've been a cheerleader in like high school in that reality, so I know that in that reality, like, I'm gonna have a lot of different physical limitations, and that's like an exciting thing to kind of think about, and maybe that will be motivating for you guys to think about as well. Another really weird but cool thing is that, like, when you shift into a different body, you'll notice that clothing kind of fits different on you when you're there. And I noticed personally for myself that my style changed, kind of just like with being in the time period that I was in for so long, and then just also having a different shape because clothing looked different on me, and I felt like I liked other things that I wouldn't typically put onto myself in this reality, even though I still like those clothing items. Your style can kind of like vary based on like physically how you look, because it can also change kind of physically how you feel in certain clothes. Now I'm gonna talk about shifting back after long periods of time, because I've shifted for a very long amount of time before and shifted back. So I'd shifted for 3 years in one of my desired realities, in Myelina DR to be very specific. I spent a lot of time there, which is why I bring it up so much, but I have so many memories there, so a lot of shit goes back to there. I had spent 3 years there. I shifted back, and it was such a weird feeling because I was so used to like the routine there. I was so used to waking up and going to class and going to see my friends and eating in the Great Hall, and I was not used to waking up to an alarm. Like hearing a phone after spending years without phones existing, smartphones existing, after I'd spent so much time without like that kind of technology around me, it was just like very weird automatically waking up to it. It was just like very bizarre. It also just like, it was a very huge mindset change because I had to automatically change what I had been focused on for the last, like, obviously when you shift, like, I still remember this reality, I still remember everything from it, but like the longer that you spend there, you know, time fades, things change-ish about the way you feel because you've spent so much time away. So then when you shift back, it's weird to like go right back into like that sense of like being back into that emotion. And this is a part of the reason why I always recommend to like baby shifters to kind of like build up if they're planning to shift for like a long period of time like that, then shift back, because it can just be like so, oh my god, when you first shift back, and it's easier to kind of like build up to that oh my god if you've already shifted for periods of time of kind of like built up to like shifting for 3 years. Of course you can still do that, I'm not telling you that you can, that's just why I've recommended it in the past, a further explanation, but it's not necessary. This is just kind of to mentally prepare you for that if you don't want to take that advice, I guess. And it's funny too, because like even after you shifted back, like you can find yourself making like little tiny mistakes, like just like little things that other people would be like, huh, that's a little weird, or like if you spend enough time around people, like I don't know about you, but I start talking like people that I spend a lot of time with. And like this was like one of the things, like when I first started shifting, I would like shift back and I would pick up lingo from people in my desired realities, and I would like start talking like them. Overall, shifting for a long period of time and then shifting back can be very draining, just like socially, because then you have to get like back into your old social patterns just like really quickly, and that can be a bit difficult, especially if you are mentally ill like me, who has bipolar. But now I want to talk about learning things in your desired reality. A lot of people still ask, so I feel like not enough people talk about it. When you go to your desired reality, if you want to like learn like a new language, for example, you would have to obtain the knowledge. Say, for example, if you wanted to learn German, you would have to like go to a German class and take lessons and then pick up that knowledge through like months of learning the language and then shift back. And then, yes, you would have therefore learned a language by shifting. With scripting that you just know the language, you would obtain some of it after a while by talking. And another really weird thing I want to talk about is just like butterfly effect timeline changes, of just like shifting to a timeline that like you have already lived, like something similar to this timeline, and seeing like slight differences just because you're living it again, maybe. Who knows? Butterfly effect. I think, for example, I shifted to a past timeline of something similar to this timeline where I moved to a different school, and in that timeline I did not have a phone, but in this timeline at that age I did have a phone. It just was like one of those slide phones. But that was like a weird little tidbit that was like changed. And that is everything I have for this video. I hope I covered some things that you haven't heard before, you found interesting or motivating maybe. As always, drink water.